medieval times, religion was a way of life. Christianity was the main religion, and in Europe, other religions were frowned upon. Paintings often had religious deities on them, showing that many artists then thought a great deal about religion. In the painting The Virgin and Child with Saints and Allegorical Figures by Giotto Bondone, it shows many people united in one place, worshiping and giving gifts to the Virgin, showing that they thought highly of religion. Religion wasn't taken very casually during the medieval times. Many people would live their life as Christ. Many artists use Christ on the cross as a reminder to themselves. The Jersey altarpiece shows Christ with other saints, often put in houses to remind themselves to be like him.
An example of religion changing in the Middle Ages is the 95 Theses. Written by Martin Luther, it's trying to reform the churches from the problems they had before. Basically what was happening is that the Pope had too much power over the people, so Martin wrote this to try to change it. The first quote I have from them is, "The whole life of believers should be penitence," which means they should be able to have wrongs for their sins instead of everything being okay. Second quote says, "The Pope has no power to remit any guilt," which means people can't bribe him for their sins to go away. Basically, if you've got a problem, you're going to have to face the consequences. The last quote I have is, "Christians should be exhorted to strive to follow Christ, their head, through pains, deaths, and hells." This means that instead of giving the Pope so much power, more power should be given to the Bible and to Christ, because he is the true leader of the religion. Unlike the medieval era, the Middle Ages had much more of a power in Christ than in the Pope. As depicted in this picture, there's Christ baptizing all the children instead of the Pope. The people wanted a direct connection with Christ instead of with the Pope. But, however, this is not the only culture and religion that is spread in this time period.
During the time of the Ottomans, religion began to slowly decline in its importance. It was still a very important part of life, but it was no longer the center of focus. An example of this would be a quote from Kurtovallis' journal, History of Mehmed the Conqueror. "The Sultan entered the city and looked about to see its great size, its situation, its grandeur and beauty, its teeming population, its loveliness, and the costliness of its churches and public buildings. This exemplifies the fact that although they spent a lot of their money on their churches, they also spent it on public buildings and other things as well." This miniature, Prophet Muhammad Tranquilizes the Dragon by Sayer-e-Nabi, shows that other religions, not just Christianity, were being written about and painted. Other religious groups were growing, and the religious world was becoming more diverse. Christianity was still a major leader in the race of religions, but its competitors were beginning to grow and flourish.
Learning was not important to the people during the Middle Ages. Their main focus was on material things and religion. In this painting, they are all working together to improve their lives in their town together. During the Middle Ages, the people were more unified and did things together. In the painting, the story of Nastasia Deji, it's depicting many people unified as one, bonding together and getting it back together.
This is a celestial globe from the Renaissance era. Compared to the Middle Ages, they had a lot of more art used in their education. This is used to measure time. It is made by Gerhard Emil for the king. With the horse and the saddle, you've seen a lot of new carvings and sculptures they didn't have in the Middle Ages, so they are much more technologically advanced now. This is from March, and it's people with agriculture, farming, and stuff. This led to a lot of the trade in the Ottoman Empire, and it was their main source of money.
The Ottomans cared about learning as a major part of their lives. An example of this would be a miniature the astronomers studied the moon and stars found in an Ottoman book. It shows several people using telescopes to study astronomy. The fact that this was an illustration in one of their books means that they wrote and painted about science and other academic subjects. They wrote and illustrated books about academic subjects, allowing them to pass on their knowledge and advance further into their learning. The Ottomans were resourceful, conservative, and intelligent. Proof of this is found in a quote by the French scholar Bertrand de Rocquer in his journal Description of the Turks and the Christians. They are diligent, willingly rise early, and live on little, being satisfied with bread badly baked, raw meat dried in the sun, milk curdled or not, honey, cheese, grapes, fruit, herbs, and even a handful of flour, with which they make a soup sufficient to feed 6 or 8 for a day. They discovered new ways to make food last and woke up early to get the maximum amount of work done for the day. They learned how to be as conservative and resourceful as possible. Thanks for watching our video, and always remember, if you need a kitten, I can hook you up.